All right, everybody, put down your tomatoes. Don't get angry. Don't get angry. Don't get angry. Don't get angry. Everybody calm down for a second. All right. So, latest polling is showing AOC as a top choice as the face of the Democrat Party, with Bernie Sanders as a distant second. But don't worry, there's the Uno reverse card, because reporting on AOC's district seeing 70% in rate in crime. Okay, so great. Face of the Democrat Party, but also increase in crime in our area. So let's go ahead and bring this up here. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's get started with the shot, the case study QB. Follow him on all of his social media, as you should.
Let's get to the latest polling on who should be the face of the Democratic Party. Senator Bernie Sanders tops a recent Associated Press poll, with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez emerging as a very strong contender. Another poll lists AOC as the top choice overall, with Sanders a distant second. Maura Gillespie and Megan Hayes are back with me. So, ladies, Maura, you first. What would you say makes AOC appealing since Donald Trump's return to the White House?
For those Democrats who are looking for anybody who is going to speak up and speak out and speak to them about what is frustrating them or concerning them or making them fearful for what the future may hold with what they view as bad policy and reckless behavior, AOC is at least out there and speaking to them. I think for the Democrats, they largely don't have a leadership focus right now. There's not one person that they can find that is going to carry their message for them. They're still trying to figure that message out. But for those who are saying that she is a contender for the 2028 cycle, that's just taking away the large swath of the American people who are more moderate. It's just, you can't run with an anti-Trump only message or an identity politics message. That was largely rebuffed in November 2024. So I think that's important to remember.
And Megan, when we break down the numbers to just Democrat preferences, Sanders is still a clear favorite. But what role would you say he is playing in AOC's rise?
It's the next successor. I'm surprised Schumer's on that list, okay? Really, I am. I'm surprised that Schumer made it that far after the hate that he got for the CR bill that was passed. But why is AOC doing well? Why is she succeeding? Why is she number one? Well, it's because, folks, name recognition is what's going to help people. Name recognition is the thing that will obviously help Democrats constantly, I guess, look like, or it seems like, that they are, in control of a new narrative. And this is where I have to look back at previous conversations that I've had with a lot of my colleagues in independent media, such as, the idea of, would AOC run in 2028? And I could see it happening. Don't worry, there's going to be a post-duopoly show. There will be one. But my goodness, folks, this is where we're at now. This is the ground that we're on. I think in 2028, we're going to be walking into Representative AOC running for president.
Yeah, I mean, they are out there. They're doing this fight oligarchy tour. I think that they are bringing in the progressive left of the party. They are giving the base something to focus on. They've been doing all of these rallies all across the country, which is really great and exciting because it gives people a way to channel their energy. But I think that I would just remind people into what Maura was saying too. Just because you're the loudest person in the party right now doesn't mean you're going to be the leader of the party, or that you would be able to carry an election in 2026 or 2028 for leadership and the presidential cycle. So I think they are great for the base, but I don't think that they are where the majority of the party is, and they are definitely not where the majority of the country is, and what Democrats will need to win a presidential election in 2028.
And Maura, look, certainly some Democrats are hand-wringing, but you've got James Carville. He's pretty bullish, pointing out that Dems are winning special elections across red states and counties. So is there some kind of a messaging deficit here?
There certainly is. I think you're going to see, as we do with most elections where one party has all the power, the pendulum does swing back a little bit because there are voters who just simply don't want to have all the power in one party's hands. And so for the midterms, it's likely that Hakeem Jeffries will take the gavel from Mike Johnson in the House. But it's not a guarantee, but it largely does depend on the messaging. For members who are looking to either keep their seats, or for candidates who are looking to take over someone's seat, they're going to have to speak to those constituents and to the issues that matter to them in their district, and speak to them about why it is that they are looking to serve them, not necessarily the party at large or the president himself. And I think that that's going to be the messaging tactic in these smaller races, and I say smaller as far as more localized races. That's the impact that I think you're going to see. And again, to Megan's point too is bringing that message back to the middle of the country.
The message deficit. Okay, so let me get this clear. And again, I want to give a huge shout out to my people watching in, right? All right. It's all talk, no substantive action. Exactly. None of that, of course. People, but there is something being manufactured here. Shout out to Corona Ursa. Thank you so much. You want to know what is happening here? It is a new kind of fight that we're seeing with the Democrats, and that is they're trying to create something for all of us to consent to. They're trying to make something for all of us to witness here, and you're hearing it here first at Hard Lens Media. I really do believe that there's an attempt to make an AOC 2028 presidential run. Okay, and now if she chooses not to do it, fine. Hey, I was wrong. I overreacted, knee-jerk reaction, fine. I can live with that. I can live with it. And that's fine by me. Perfectly fine. But I see the groundwork happening. Now, will she have an impact? If she's able to capture a lightning in the bottle kind of moment that we saw in 2016, okay, hey, good news, bad news. Good news is it's content gold. Bad news is a lot of us who are going to be critical of AOC are going to be shadow banned, the likes of which we have not seen in such a long time that so many people will say, oh my God, you're still around? Whoa, where have you been? That's how bad it could get. Or either that, it's a mediocre 2020 run that we saw from Bernie Sanders, give or take. But now that AOC, her name is being mentioned as the face of the new Democrat Party, so step aside, Mama Bear Nancy. There's always going to be Fox News with its little caveat. Crime in AOC's district.
The Bronx and Queens district, represented by New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, has seen a 70% crime surge since she took office. That according to NYPD data. That is more than double the New York City average. Here's how AOC previously addressed the rising crime.
We are seeing these headlines about percentage increases. Now, I want to say that any amount of harm is unacceptable and too much. But I also want to make sure that this hysteria, that this doesn't drive a hysteria and that we look at these numbers in context so that we can make responsible decisions.
New York City Council candidate Ramsey Cas and Elmhurst resident Guadalupe Alvarez joins us now. So I'm going to start with you, Ramsey. You know that I've been down to that district. I've interviewed women who have said, I'm afraid to walk on the street after 5, 6 o'clock at night. I've seen tricks turned at 11 a.m. She says, by the way, prostitute tricks, in case people don't know what I'm talking about.
No, we don't know what you're talking about. How could you bring it up on Fox and Friends? I can't believe it this early in the morning. And shame, my audience, they don't know what that is. My audience isn't ready for that. All right? I mean, heaven forbid, Random Element, Grapentine, Big Basil, Kurt Boss, the Boss of Bosses, Jenny Lynn, BW, Mastermind, Wendy Carballo, Trans Gemini, Dr. Nick, Matthew Wayne, Peace Not War 223, Barnes Homestead, Jack Acid. Everybody hears about this, even bad cookies. They hear about tricks at night. I got to tell you guys, listen, this is going to come as a shock to you. Tricks. Man, it's not the cereal, man. It's not the little rabbit. It's not family fun.
11 a.m. inside your district. What do you say to her response that this is just hysteria?
It's not hysteria. It's a reality. The numbers are showing what exactly is happening. We have crime happening every single day here, from violent crime, prostitution, illegal street vending, you name it, and it's happening here. This has become a safe haven for criminal activity. Once they opened the borders up, everything got worse, and it continues to gradually increase, in numbers. We have problems here that she is not facing and she is not trying to face. She just keeps on, giving this rhetoric about, oh, you don't cause hysteria, but the reality is here. People are scared. People are afraid to even go to the supermarket just because of all the criminal activity that we see in the streets.
Guadalupe, when you're talking with your friends and you guys are expressing these concerns, about the state of your district and what's happening in the streets and the crime that we were just hearing about. And then you see your congresswoman jetting all over the country, sometimes in a private jet, raging against the oligarchy, whatever that is, with Bernie Sanders.
The oligarchy, those are the guys who control the media, the politicians, all that good jazz.
How do you and your friends respond to that? How is that received in the district?
Well, to us, that's hysteria, right? Her last campaign ad on Instagram spoke about being a cynic and not giving in to the cynicism when she is, in fact, the cynic. We're just so tired. I can't speak for myself, but the community voted her in, and she has done nothing for the community. If you see what she's done since she's been Congresswoman, it's been nothing. She has not even shown to her areas of representation, and it's unfortunate that we have to suffer with the consequences. Like Ramsey said, it's constant fear amongst one another. We won't have friends visit us because we don't want to be responsible for anything that might happen to them in the neighborhood.
Ramsey's, is this the tipping point? Is this the moment where the people in this district, despite the fact that it is a heavily Democrat district, finally say enough is enough? We're going to vote out AOC.
Not going to happen. We already got the answers to that on in 2024. And AOC herself actually did a polling. A lot of people in her district voted for Trump for president, but a lot of people voted for her to be their representative. So the people voted for her. So you must ask yourself, okay, there must be a lot of diehard Democrats, or is it that there's a lot of people that support AOC? And look, I want to give a huge shout out to one person in particular, Jose Vega. He was recently on the Jimmy Dore show. Shout out to Jose Vega, who's been doing a lot of great work. He's running as an independent. I know Larry Sharp even gave him a shout out too. And also a huge shout out to Larry Sharp, both of them from New York City. Hell, even shout out to Do Dissidents, the double danger duo, Do Dissidents. Shout out to all those guys. AOC, to her credit, especially what was brought up by some extent was my conversation with Larry Sharp, but also with Jose Vega. She's doing town halls. She's meeting up with her constituents. At least she's actively involved. Now, we have to look at also why there is a rise in crime. It isn't just one day somebody woke up and said, all right, turn off all the cameras. Crime is going to go up. Why is crime going up? Why is there an increase in crime? Well, because one, we have an economic system that's causing a lot of despair. You have the devastating aftermath of the sanctuary city, of course. And also you have gentrification, homelessness on the rise. And when you create an environment of despair, desperation, and economic instability, well, people don't like starving in the streets. That's one thing that's abundantly clear. My grandfather used to tell me of the old days during the Depression when he saw people starving in the streets, being withered away. It's not an easy thing to look at.
We're going to vote out Democrats, and we're going to put a Republican in Congress from this district. Is that time now?
New Yorkers have woken up, and we just need to continue this trend of waking up on our end. Public safety is a #1 issue in this area, and it needs to be addressed. We need leaders in office that are willing to get their hands dirty, boots on the ground. I'm out there every single day. I live this. This is what I'm about, and I'm about to clean this whole thing up. We need all the residents, everybody in the community to understand that the Democrats have allowed this to happen for so many years, and it gradually continues to get worse. I'm here for the people. I am the people. And I'm going to continue to do what I have to do to make sure and ensure the future residents of this area are safe.
And by the way, Ramsey, it's true. You are on the ground. You are speaking to the people. I've seen you there myself. And you're right. She's just not there. I mean, Guadalupe, isn't that half the problem? She doesn't know what's going on because she's not there. I've gone down, interviewed people many times, multiple times. They say either I don't know her, or I've asked for help from her and her office, and I've had no response. Why isn't anyone demanding that she get into her district?
I believe we are demanding. I speak for myself. I went to one of the town halls where she was speaking in the Bronx, I believe. And when I asked the question of, what are you doing for Jackson Heights? Are you aware of the crime and prostitution. Have you seen the neighborhood lately? She dismissed me. She said she'd be right back and never came back, and
Wow.
just handed the floor to her assistant, which was really infuriating. Not only that, we were given questions written by them. So it's like our concerns weren't really addressed until like someone had to speak up, and I had to be that person. And she still does nothing. So we aren't being heard, no matter how much we go out there. There's no accountability on her part, and things need to change, and more people need to speak up.
Well, we're so proud of you for speaking up, and we're happy to provide this platform. Maybe she's watching Fox and Friends. I don't know. Do they get that on the oligarchy tour?
I mean, they have TVs. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of fancy private planes have TVs.
They got a lot of channels available on the private jets.
Ramsey, Guadalupe, thank you for joining us, and we'll keep following this story and helping your district get a voice out there. Thank you.
And just quickly before we go, you went to that district to interview people, so did I. There was one common theme, is that some people are really scared to speak out because of the consequences to them. I don't know if you got that sense. I got that sense. So that, to your point, that being brave, very brave.
Yeah, they are brave.
And also, it would help to have a representative who's not hostile to the police as a starting point if you're worrying about crime.
Yeah.
Switching gears.
Yeah. So, okay. You already know what's being laid out here. First of all, AOC is being viewed with much popularity, and she's being groomed, or that's a horrible choice of words there, but she's being propped up as the next thing. Because what do the Democrats have? Well, they don't have Biden. He's deteriorating. Obama had his time. Michelle Obama, no. Hillary Clinton, no. Bill Clinton, no. Nancy Pelosi, no. Chucky Boy Schumer, no. Look, hey, everything has a beginning, middle, and end, as does the old guard. So, as their power, or eventually their energy, is waned away, well, you got to look at who the next successor is, because it's not going to be Bernie. He's going to be too old, too. All right, Bernie had his shot in 2016, and he fumbled the bag, he fumbled the ball, he fumbled on the people. But then there's AOC, the Fight the Oligarchy tour. But now we see the gameplay again. We see the same story that's happened before, over and over and over and over and over again. And that is, well, okay, you got a Democrat, rise in crime in their district, rise in crime. And, you know, the thing is, there's crime everywhere. That's true. It shouldn't happen. But there's desperation right now. I would say that this is just how it's going to play out. We've seen this happen. Republicans tough on crime, Democrats weak on crime, of course. And AOC is now the new face. Whether you like it or not, 2028, I would be surprised. And I'll apologize, too, if AOC chooses to run, okay? And I'll apologize if she doesn't run, okay? But it looks like that this is what we're going to see. What else do the Democrats have? Who else do the Democrats have? Yes, there are other governors and people that are more centrist and corporate. But who else does the Democratic Party have to energize the base? Bernie Sanders will one day ride off into the sunset. This is truth. Prepare yourselves, but pretend to be shocked.